A tip for success with hacking injury. Hey, I'm Sarah from mostmotion, and if you're a non-specialist coach or trainer who wants to understand injuries in a meaningful and helpful way without having to get all technical about it, then here's an injury hacking tip for you. So the main idea here is that injuries are not about symptoms. Look, if you're coaching people who already have pain, then it's likely that their fear of hurting themselves further and the anticipation of the pain itself is bigger than the pain problem. So this is a huge component of injuries that physical therapists cannot get involved with because they're busy dealing with the physical aspect of pain. But as a coach, there's loads of stuff that you can do to help people with this issue. So when you help your people overcome that fear and the anticipation of pain, you'll be able to deliver results that your people have never experienced before and make a hugely valuable contribution even to the reduction and prevention of pain. So what do? Firstly, stop thinking about injuries as being a bunch of symptoms that you just can't do anything about, and start thinking about them as emotional barriers that you can easily help to break down. So if you really want to understand injuries so you can actually help your people with their existing injury problems, then this book lays it all out for you. Check it out at unlockingfitness.com.